And you and Jen know each other from outside of acting. Can you guys talk, you guys work with people with various special needs. Can you talk about how your clients inspire you?
There's just so many on so many levels. Just one story that comes to mind is just being in the children's hospital, and a little girl who had leukemia invited us to her birthday party. And she and her mom said that was the happiest day they had had since they had been in the hospital, getting to see the show and hear all this music and all of that. And when you have moments like that, sometimes it's hard to go back to just, different projects, because you're like being in this tiny little hospital room, getting to spend that moment with this family was such an incredible gift, and it is hard sometimes to just say, yeah, now I'm gonna go do Hello Dolly. Not that there's anything wrong with Hello Dolly, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, last year at the studio I directed, I always wanted to do Shakespeare with my guys. I call my guys. And the last year I directed a production of A Midsummer Night's Dream. I had 44 actors with developmental disabilities. I added more fairies. I had the mechanical, and then because I have actors who don't read, so I also add the mechanical, and the village people were part of that. And what was really wonderful, I have a young woman, she's a wonderful musician. She also has cerebral palsy. She works, and she uses a voice, activated voice bots to communicate. And I really wanted, her name is Sarah, I really wanted her to be part of the show. So at the part where they say, does the moon shine the night we play our play, I said, let's ask Siri. So Siri came out in her wheelchair. She uses a wheelchair, and we put her lines on the voice box. So they said, does the moon shine the night we play our play? And Sarah pressed her button and said, yes, it does shine that night. And there was a guy, the guy casted Demetrius. His name is Freddie. And when I cast him, he was a newer student. He went, Diana, I don't want a big part in your play. Please, can you give me a smaller part? And I was like, oh, Freddie, I really want you. And so Freddie got up, even though he didn't think he could. At the end of the show, I said, Freddie, how do you feel? And he went, thank you for believing in me. And Freddie is now literally a different person at the studio. I mean, his confidence. So yeah, I don't get me wrong, I love the fun stuff, the red carpet and the fun, that's fun. That's what I dreamed about when I was a little girl. But the opportunities I've had to see my students grow and the clients I work with grow, and to see how this art can impact people in a different way by helping them participate and find out what their strengths are through this medium, that's as equally rewarding. And it is an extension of who I am. It's not a fallback. It's something that it's just part of who I am as an artist, is helping people, I think, find their artistry. I think in this era of inclusion and diversity, disability sometimes gets left out of that conversation. When we have the Ask Us a White campaign, yet disability intersects with every group that's out there, whether it's LGBTQ, age, race. I'm an African American woman who has a disability. I intersect, and we intersect we are the least visible in television and film, and usually, still more often than not, when there is a role written for a character with a disability, is played by an actor who does not have a disability. So a lot of my advocacy work and being on the National Performers with Disabilities Committee, and the reason I teach what I teach is to make sure that we have trained actors who can go out there and not only book roles that are disability specific, but why can't the judge have a visual impairment? Why can't Denzel Washington's wife have cerebral palsy and be really hot? I'd be willing to do it. I would make the sacrifice. I'm dedicated to my art. But no, seriously, it's just about we live in an inclusive and diverse world, and so it's about making sure that the visibility we see in TV and film and new media is inclusive of everyone that lives in our society, and that includes people who have diverse disabilities, and not some, because sometimes when we do see disability, it's someone who uses a wheelchair or someone who has Down syndrome. And that there's nothing wrong with that, but it's also expanding what that definition of disability is, and also not making it always about disability. I mean, Jen and I are friends. Anyone who's on Facebook knows I have 2 adorable nephews that I brag about all the time because they are the most adorable children in the whole wide world. They are. But I mean, that's part of my life. My disability is a part of who I am, but it doesn't define who I am. So having those roles, like I said, why not? Why can't the neighbor come and the neighbor has Down syndrome, or the neighbor, has a speech impediment or whatever? So it's been really important for me to make sure that the inclusion includes all ages, all races, and to really be part of a community that's advocating for that.
Thank you. Can you also talk about the one-woman show that you created?
Yeah, I have, through my company, the Rainbow Butterfly Cafe, I have a couple one-woman shows, and one is Watch Your Head. And actually it's not a show that I wrote, but it's so aligned with the story that I want to tell about. It was one of those, I call them godsend moments, but when you have those moments where you're like, oh, I have to do this show. So I use it, I'm starting to market it as not only a story about disability, but a story about resiliency, because one of the things I want to do through my company is teach about resiliency through theater. So it's a show about a woman who had a brain hemorrhage on stage. And what's kind of cool about it is, for me, a brain injury or a stroke, my disability could have been caused by a stroke. And so it's a really interesting journey for me to play a character who acquired a disability later on in life and talk about that journey. And it's a little bit different from my own, but yet there are many similarities. So I'm working out to booklet to colleges and retreats, and here, if you want me to do it here, I'll do it here, wherever. But that's what I'm working on now, just trying to market that as a educational tool.